Hello chaps, Paul Curran here. I hope you and all the listeners are well. I'd like to dedicate this week's Poetry Corner to my father, Brian, who was never happier than taking my brother, my sister and myself and my mother around art galleries. And art's the theme this week. Art and great European cities, perhaps. Let me begin by reading one of my favourite sonnets, and it sets the scene. This is composed upon Westminster Bridge on September the 3rd, 1802, and it's by William Wordsworth, of course. A wonderful sonnet. It's as follows. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be of soul who could pass by a sight so touching in its majesty. This city now doth like a garment wear the beauty of the morning, silent, bare. Ships, towers, domes, theatres and temples lie open unto the fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. Never did sun more beautifully steep in his first splendour valley, rock or hill, ne'er saw I, ne'er felt a calm so deep. The river glideth at his own sweet will. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. Tremendous sonnet by Wordsworth there, who lived from the 7th of April 1770 to the 23rd of April 1850. Well, I was in London last week with some good friends, Willen and Alison and their lovely daughter Minerva and my mother, and we went round the Royal Academy summer exhibition, which was a tremendously bright and vivid affair. There are many works of note there this year. It's the 250th summer exhibition. I don't quite know if Joshua Reynolds would have anticipated that Burlington House would be as colourful as it is at present. This show having been arranged by Grayson Perry. And there are, amongst the sculptures and the works on display, there's lots of tongue-in-cheek work there, which isn't, to my mind, all that an art exhibition should offer. And there is also some wonderful portraiture. Portraiture, I think, is one of the hardest of the pictorial art forms to pull off, because not only does it require such technical ability, but it has to display attitude, the attitude of the sitter as well. There's also a very bold David Hockney. Good to see that he's continuing to work after his successful year last year when the Tate had that tremendous retrospective. So well worth a visit, of course, the RA summer exhibition. So art's the theme this week, and the next poem that I'm going to read, bringing us a little closer to our present time, is by W.H. Auden. Wystan Hugh Auden, who lived from the 21st of February 1907 and died on the 29th of September 1973, was noted for his ability to write verse in many different styles. He was a conscientious objector, of course, and he's famous for his love poetry as well. The poem that I'm going to read now, though, is called the Musée des Beaux-Arts, which was first published in 1939, and therein Auden talks about the crucifixion, and he talks about the wondrous events of the fall of Icarus, which you'll know from the story, tells of he who tried to fly so high that the wax holding his wings melted by the heat of the sun. He uses painting by Bruegel to illustrate this, and the workers in the field, they hear the splash as the boy falls to earth, and a ship that is depicted in Bruegel's picture slowly continues its journey, almost completely unaffected really. The workers hear the splash, but the ship sails on, and people have interpreted the poem as though Auden was suggesting humanity's callous attitude toward suffering. It's open to conjecture, really, whether that is his first line of thought, but certainly he achieves. He's able to depict these remarkable events, such as the crucifixion, and humanity somehow rolling on by. Perhaps he's telling us to take more note. I'll leave it up to you to determine. Anyway, this is Musée des Beaux-Arts by W. H. Auden. About suffering, they were never wrong, the old masters. How well they understood its human position. How it takes place while someone else is eating or opening a window or just walking dully along. How, when the aged are reverently, passionately waiting for the miraculous birth, there always must be children who did not specially want it to happen, skating on a pond at the edge of the wood. They never forgot that even the dreadful martyrdom must run its course. Anyhow, in a corner, some untidy spot where the dogs go on with their doggy life and the torturer's horse scratches its innocent behind on a tree. In Bruegel's Icarus, for instance, how everything turns away quite leisurely from the disaster. The ploughman may have heard the splash, the forsaken cry, but for him it was not an important failure. The sun shone as it had to on the white legs disappearing into the green water, and the expensive, delicate ship that must have seen something amazing, a boy falling out of the sky, had somewhere to get to, and sailed calmly on. I'd like to finish today with two sonnets of mine, one from my first book, his only sonnet. It's called Unfinished Masterpieces. J.B. Yeats and Caravaggio's art is my gallery. Pre-Raphaelite work, oils fusing myth, religion and the heart, the crosses of Christ's passion that there lurk, alongside Liffey swims and wild horsemen, knights errant, damsels distressing in line, belle dame sans merci or peach-faced, auburn-haired beauties, canvas captured for all time. So it is with empathy. I'd hear a sketch by Burne-Jones of himself, hungry, searching, on a postcard to my mirror for inspiration, hopeful, not angry, his scribbled quest for artists' releases, named in jest, Unfinished Masterpieces. And finally, a more recent sonnet that I wrote in another of Europe's great capital cities, Madrid. This is called Fuma Matter. Which of course means smoking kills. It also has a subtitle, B&H Blues. If you don't stop coughing, you'll end up in one. I smoked my last full packet in Madrid. Enjoyed nearly all in self-conscious style. I even spoke of it before I did. My anytime soon had become a while. Keitel Tarantino clicking Zippo outside the Prado, twisted shades in place. El Tres de Mayo and Tintoretto, Jose de Ribera's amazing face. Louis Buñuel's soldiers, all 20, their foreign warning less real somehow, all were enough and enough were plenty. I can't say I don't even miss them now. But folks, do not smoke, do not even start. Smoking cigarettes is a dying art.